we did have also PS Plus
There we
and
go.
Orcs Numelops. Oh, there you go. We had
I'm
also
back
PS
now.
Plus and Orcs Numelops as well, but since the match got postponed quite on a shorter notice, the time exactly hasn't been determined yet. When will it be played? But we will get back. We will get more information about it once we go further into the week. Other than that, anything else I missed? I don't think I did, unless you have something to add to it as well.
I fixed my mic, so we're not on something that should have been terrible before. How are we doing, by the way? Welcome to live audio checks. 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, it can happen to anybody. Can happen to anybody, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you want to know what actually happened?
Oh, tell me.
I will give it away. All right. Look, I tried to do a little bit of warm-ups before. Okay, was getting a little feel for the track as quickly as I could, and it did the classic. Oh yes, your default mic is the controller. That's the one you want to use. That's clearly
controller mic goaded.
Yeah. So thank you, Twitch chat, for calling that out straight away. Otherwise this could have been a very, very long and painful night. So let's get into this, though. I have to admit I missed most of the draft. I do apologize for that. But where are we starting off?
Well, we're gonna start off with control as well. So we will have Airwalk, Pool, Grip, and Sinus will be the decider for this first one as well. We will quickly see. I can quickly add a bit of a volume to the man himself as well. Hopefully he sounds good on everybody's end as well. Yep. And we will see how things will go. The players are already on the server, so once we get into the actual match, we can get into it as well. It is Exalty and Sprout. Last time they did meet, it was on Play Day 3, I believe, and it was 4-2, and Sprout were the ones to actually win that match. But of course, a lot has changed since then, so don't know what we're gonna get this time, and we never know. Exalty have been good, Sprout have been good. But it's been up and down, up and down.
I feel like Dexter has been good, like in particular, right? Like Dexter has, for at least for my so far, been the standout member of that Sprout duo. I know Scrappy probably comes in with the fanfare and has had their strong performances, but again, following BS Plus, it was Dexter that really, really, really stepped up in that occasion and in that match. So if we are going to see Sprout, despite being one map down and therefore one seed down, if they're going to pull out this one off, I do look for a strong performance out of them.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot to play for. I mean, Exalty came from a relegation, from the promo relegation as well, and they came basically to be in the playoffs now, so it's a pretty good fairy tale story for them, and hopefully that continues as well as we move on to the rest of the playoffs. Of course, we are already in-game as well. As you can see, the warm-up is in front of you as well. And as you can see, I have done a lot of work. During tomorrow in the morning, before the APAC Regional, I went through and did Challenger and World Record times for every single track. Ooh. So you can thank me, chat. They're on your screens. If one of them is incorrect, you can let me know, and I can update them live as well. But for us, it is the Challenger League playoff final. Well, Challenger League playoffs. And it is the first lower bracket. So take us away, Max, as we are on control.
Yeah, that we are already straight into it. And of course, control has been a pretty interesting map, I'd say, so far. But by this stage, it has been one of the more played ones. And we're kind of looking at these two teams coming into it between like Exalty and the likes of Sprout. Can't help but feel like, Sprout's win record, they've been 4-6 on this one, pretty solid. On that Exalty side, however, they have been undefeated so far through the league on this map up. And, well, when you see bonks like that, maybe you start to question why. Not sure what happened with Link right there. They are going to be pretty far back right now, but that same token, Dexter had the little moment earlier. So 2 fights happening, one for P1, one back for P3. And at the moment, it is Scrappy who is falling a little bit behind. Now, of course, when you talk about this track, it is always the identities. And, well, the identity of this one, those jumps where you have to land in that ice half pipe and find that landing. The second one as well, all important. Scrappy's low line is going to be good for momentum, but not quite good enough to steal P1.
Yeah, and it seems that Dexter and Link having a similar mistake there, but they still come to a gentleman's agreement. And Exalty and Sprout on control start off with a draw. So good times indeed as well. 1:10s is what we're looking for as well. Of course, Panda himself holds the World and Challenger League record, and a lot of good times. But let's see if I have a feeling today that one of the records today is gonna get beaten. Whether it will be on control, highly doubtful. Panda has been cooking this entire season, at least the second half, but McQuattro definitely, I feel like, is one of the candidates to do so as well. And we see it's an equal start for everybody involved. Dexter, Scrappy, McQuattro, Link, nothing to really separate the two as we go into the second half of the map. Let's see, will the bobsleigh entry be a bit more favorable this time? Dexter and Scrappy looking to be the ones spearheading the match here, and they get it all clean. Dexter actually gets a lot more speed. Scrappy falls a bit behind as Link is the one to overtake, and they're getting ever so closer to the identity once again, Max, and let's see how they do this time.
Yeah, I'm loving how wide some of the lines, though, we're seeing from Exalty right now. They are trying to risk it just for that higher speed. Unfortunately, it hasn't really gotten them that place yet. Dexter, pretty calm, a couple car lakes in front as Link's high line probably not going to do them any favors. They're going to fall back to P4, so if anything's going to stop the 8, it's going to be on McQuattro. Tries to go low, but in reality, it's the exact same line as Scrappy, so that's not going to do it. An ace for Sprout.
Yeah, and this is Exalty's map pick as well. Actually, that is something that I forgot to mention early on. Exalty do have the upper seed here, and they will so throughout the entire thing, of course, as the thing is that they had the better map difference, so they actually do have the upper seed in this match. And this is actually their pick as well, so Sprout looking to make a bit of an upset here as well, and it seems that Dexter has always been practicing, but it seems that, I mean, Scrappy is always good. If anything, the potential for Sprout is absolutely insane. It's when it comes together, they are really hard to beat. But, you know, everybody has their off days. It is going to be a tough battle for McQuattro and especially Link as well, as we have a current POV. But, I mean, they have nothing to really separate them. They are as close as they're going to get. Everybody gets a very decent exit as well, and Sprouts are really sending a good start here, but nothing to separate. I mean, look at them. They're inseparable as we go closer to the identity.
This is insane.
Oh,
what is actually happening? No, Link! You see, you cursed it.
Yeah,
we were good. Everyone was in sync. We were going to get the first ever 4-way tie. And then you brought it up and caused Link to bounce. And unfortunately, McQuattro, actually, very fortunately, that low line got all the speed on the exit, finds their way past Scrappy. Dexter should be able to hold on P1, but it's another risky finish. McQuattro goes underneath, steals away the win, and just saving the draw at what looked like it could have been an ace before the identity.
I mean, that is exactly, but when McQuattro is there, I mean, he's a powerhouse. He really wants to just, whenever in doubt, you can always rely on McQuattro. Man is a fortress and a wall built to last a while. And we see that Link has been in the mix always as well. It's just that Ace is the big difference for now, and that could be something that could come in handy for Sprout in the next ones, as Link goes a bit too hot in there and continues, because I think he knows that his checkpoint respawn is going to be quite horrid, I think.
Yeah, Link's going to have to do a lot of digging to get back in this more realistically. I mean, very realistically. They're going to need the mistake to happen from the rest of the side, but I mean, you're talking about that wall, right? It felt like the moment Link fell behind, McQuattro was able to pull ahead, and with that bonk from Dexter now, McQuattro's got himself nearly a second gap, so doesn't need to do anything too crazy. Has already proven to be the strongest player in the identity at this stage. Scrappy is the one who's going to be hoping for something, but at this stage, if I'm Sprout, I'm almost willing to concede the draw, but not if Scrappy has to reset. In fact, that allows Link to get past Exalty. This is why you stay in it and never give up, even with an atrocious start. All Link needs is the clean finish. They're going to find it, and Exalty stole that round away.
Yeah, it is, as the good old saying goes, it's not over until you cross the finish line, and Link proves it quite well. I feel like he has a really good knack for it. If he has an early mistake, he's able to focus, you know, get through it cleanly, and more times than not, I feel like it actually does pay off, because, you know, the team up front have to risk. McQuattro is constantly pushing, so Sprout have to go for it, and it can lead to some unfortunate events. Well, for either side, but it seems that Link, once he gets going, he can really get an advantage, and you can see Exalty. Now the flex is coming in, ace position, looking a lot better than in the previous rounds, and the two men are spearheading the front here, hoping to get an ace and crawl those points back.
Whoa, it looked like Dexter almost balked right there, was able to hold it, but yeah, at the moment, hunting for the ace. I mean, McQuattro definitely feeling this track, and as you called out, not too surprising, has the second fastest, you know, PB out of the Challenger Series, so you kind of expect him to step on this track. And again, Exalty undefeated on Control throughout the season, so it feels a matter of when and not if they're going to get right back in the lead on this one. However, Sprout doing what they can until Scrappy struggles a bit. They're going to fall back, but Link falls back as well. And just like every other round, it's between McQuattro and Dexter. But McQuattro's lead is going to be thrown away. Dismantling on the dismount. They disappoint. Dexter takes that one. And well, the fight for third goes to Scrappy. Sprout wins that round, and they're 1 away. Well, 2 points, but 1 round away at least from taking our first track.
Yeah, I mean, they are close rounds. It just comes, you know, they both know they have to just go for it. But it's 5-8, and as you said, Exalty have been undefeated. But I mean, it's the group stage. We're at the playoffs. Those stats, throw them out the window. It's good to know, but at this point, any team is fallible. And it only shows that no matter how good you are on a map, at this level, anybody can give you a run for your money. Scrappy does have to release. Knew already that he was gonna clip the edge otherwise, so does have to concede the spot. But Link is now in third. McQuattro and Dexter are fighting up in front, as Scrappy will give us a nice point of view of a bit of a clip there. I don't know if he can. Oh, he's gonna make it, but that's gonna be a very awkward entry. Link's entry is no better whatsoever, and McQuattro hits the pole, and Scrappy finds himself in second position. How convenient!
This could be one of the easiest aces we've seen. Granted, Scrappy, all you have to do is land this identity, and this is going to be yours. I think Scrappy's going to be fully aware of it. That said, McQuattro, I mean, it's only 7/10 back, so you still need Scrappy to land this one clean. First part done and dusted. This second part has been giving some of the drivers problems, but if there's been any theme for Control on this round, it has been redemption. It's redemption for Sprout. They come back, get the ace, take the first track, and off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, 5-11, that's first track point, and the next map, of course, will be going to be Airwalk as well, so that is gonna be the case. I mean, Airwalk, it is a Sprout choice. Hard to say where we go with this as well. Airwalk, I feel like the map itself is very simple. You can, of course, have an occasional bumper incident. But overall, I mean, unless you have the stats open, which I don't, you can give me a bit of detail on how these teams have been performing throughout the season at the moment. Because at the top of my head, I don't have a Wikipedia page there, unfortunately.
Well, I will say this, Airwalk right now has been not the strongest map for Exalty, is the best way to put it. They've been here only a handful of times, 4 times, have only found 1 win, where Sprout has been relatively consistent. And when you're looking at times, this is one of the few times where Scrappy has been stepping up and looking strong. That said, something a little bit surprising, sometimes Exalty finds himself with better average times. So, like, Exalty actually can be quite fast on this track, but consistency has been the thing which has held them back. So we'll see if they're going to be able to piece it together right now. But yeah, again, Sprout chose this track for a reason. It's one of the tracks really where Scrappy can step up and shine. So even though I was saying Dexter could be the carrying force, it definitely was on Control. This could be a little bit of redemption for Scrappy.
I mean, the one thing is always, like, if Dexter shows up, you have to fear the man. There's a reason why he was one of the best players in Stage 1, and to be honest, arguments aside, he's still one of the best players even in Stage 2. Maybe not has had the season he had last time around, but, you know, I mean, he's up front with Scrappy, you know. The two friends' camaraderie at its side, and it is Link and McQuattro, as Link does touch the wall. So it's up to McQuattro to deny an ace. Of course, you can always bank on the fact that maybe if the first set doesn't go so well, you can always bank on the second one. But, you know, you really don't want this to be an easy win for Sprout, as identity looms. Can they actually commit to this one? Gonna be a good one. McQuattro is sending it, but that lineup is a lot better for Sprout. But McQuattro takes Scrappy still. So good enough to avoid the worst, you know. One, you know, ace would have been absolutely horrid to start off.
Yeah, it would have been a disaster, so, but McQuattro still there. Unfortunately, recurring theme I'm noticing, man. Link struggling today so far. I don't know if we've seen an actual clean run from them yet, and I don't mean to call someone out so early, but if Exalty is going to show up in it this series, yes, this first series is a pretty important one. Only a best of 5 compared to the next match, which is best of 7, which means you have so much less wiggle room, I suppose, to step up in the first set. Link's got to find a way to get more involved. Granted, on this second round. It is Scrappy who's struggling initially. You're going to have to try and find, again, well, in this case, find a mistake from Link, who has been consistent, at least in that regard. We'll see if they bring it up as we approach the second half of the track.
Yeah, I mean, Link, of course, he has been having a few moments as well. We've seen him come into the Trackmania chat as well, and sometimes does lend to see that he is not pleased with some of his performances, but he's still, I feel like he's been playing a lot better than in stage 1, but I feel like the later half of the season has fallen a bit off, but this is a good point to actually take some points back, as Dexter does fly very high, but he gets a very low landing. But it's not going to be good enough. It is a draw, a clean round from everybody involved. So as soon as we start talking a bit bad stuff about Link, he's like, yeah, we got a clean round here. Hold up, it's not over until it's over, Max.
It's called motivation. Give him that pep talk, all right?
Negative feedback is still feedback.
Get your head in the game, and then boom, is able to do so. It's interesting that, the debate between tough love versus, the gentle, oh, it's all right, we know you can bring it back. This is playoffs, and it's a lot harder to get away with it. It's okay, you tried your best. You want to see these drivers step up, and that was a good little turnaround from Link. Not enough to take the lead, though, however, and that's kind of what we're going to be looking at right now, although Exalty looking a lot better this next round, as Scrappy is able to stay with them, but it's actually Dexter's lower line that gives them that bit of speed, trying to catch up. Link slowly dropping further and further back, but I mean, you said it before, the thing about this track, right, it's relatively simple, it's relatively straightforward, so much like a few of the tracks actually this second season. It all comes down to how well you hit that identity.
Yeah, and that's the main part of it as well. I mean, there is consistency actually in that bumper. Of course, if you set up every single time, and it's going to be the same. But you do have to adapt, and once you commit, you sort of have to commit for it. Cool. And it seems that Exalty are going to commit to an ace unless Dexter overtakes them both. Absolutely insane. Fully sends it and gets both of them. I mean, Dexter's wide arrived here. He's putting in the work. Clearly the practice has paid off. Man's on fire. And Scrappy is there to just, scrape in the points, Exalty, a draw for me.
Oh, that's got to be so heartbreaking for the Exalty fans out there as well. They held that lead for so long, the 1-2 positions, and yet stolen away at the very, very end. Now Sprout, I mean, hey, you can draw all your way all the way to that round win, but realistically, if Dexter is feeling that good on the identity, it's going to be struggle street throughout for Exalty as they're going to drive their way through this. Again, Scrappy, though, hasn't had the best early sections. Constantly we see Scrappy behind, not making mistakes, don't get me wrong, but with Exalty now starting to find a bit more form. We're going to need to see a bit more pace throughout these early stages from Scrappy if this is going to be an easy win for Sprout at the moment. McQuattro staying right up there with Dexter, but Lynx's wide line could leave them exposed over the mini identity, and that's where we see Scrappy make his move.
Yeah, this is where the overtake comes in, but the identity at the moment, Dexter has been really good at executing, but Exalty, they've gotten it clean, but they do tend to safe it a bit, and they go rather wide, so will there be... Oh, Dexter does respawn, so it is a victory for Exalty. A good time still, 108.6s, they're pretty decent times for rounds, but it does tie up the score. It is a 5-5. Also, chat, I have been noticing your comments as well. Do let me know. Would you prefer Max to be bumped up in volume, or do you want me to be bumped down a bit? So, well, audio is always a thing, When you have 500 million casters to choose from, audio is always a funny part, so do let me know, and I'll adjust it accordingly.
Turn me up. Let's say I can turn myself up one second.
There we go.
Is that
max volume for Max, apparently.
Yeah, it's... look, TLDR, I'm here, all right? We can reach behind the scenes a little bit. It's a little bit last minute, get it all together, but the important thing is we're bringing this to you, and right now Scrappy bringing it to Exalty, as they're looking quite strong. I love the Trackmania community, by the way, all right?
Yep.
I've done a lot of work with a lot of other communities. No other Twitch chat community would be as patient and helpful as this one. The amount of flame I'd be getting, like that CSGO land I was telling you about earlier today, oh my goodness.
I mean, they are all nice, but if one of my overlays would be 1 pixel off, I'm sure there's going to be one guy there that's going to mention it anyway. But either way, we have the identity here.
500.
Yeah, but Dexter is fully sending it. Scrappy could take this, but I feel like McQuattro will overtake, so it's another victory for Exalty. I mean, the casters are actually doing the streaming part, not casting the match. How dare they? But Exalty, track point, and on Sprout's map pick. I mean, I knew this was going to be a close map, just knowing the context of these teams, but they are going in a bit of a different format. I thought they would go like their own map picks, trade one another, and then go on to a decider, but they're doing the complete opposite, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see if they bring it up as Dexter's going to find his way through. Dude, now I'm getting vocal coaching tips as well from this chat. They just want the best, and I appreciate that, so we're going to see how that sounds. Right now, at the moment, it is MiQuattro sticking right with Scrappy and Dexter. Link, the one falling behind, and it feels like every single time we kind of point out, it's like, oh, this guy seems to be struggling at the moment. The next couple rounds, they show up again. I mean, the momentum has been so ebby and flowy, and the scoreline reflects it as, oh, that wasn't good from Dexter right there. Unfortunately, went a little bit offline, and as a result now, you have to feel this deficit, unless they full risk it like they did a couple rounds ago, could see themselves lagging it through the identity.
Yeah, but it is a good opportunity. Scrappy does need to commit to this because an ace would be a track point. Oh, MiQuattro has to respawn.
Oh.
Immediately goes for it. Knows he cannot make it. So it allows for Scrappy to come in and overtake Link as well. And there it is. It's going to be an 8-8 scoreline on Airwalk as well. So that is going to be it. I'm going to quickly notice as well. Going to lower myself a bit because people wanted it as well. Also, keep me updated on the audio. Always, can you quickly adjust it as we go along. But 8-8. Who's going to take this? What are you going to see? I feel like Exalty have been more consistent though. Though I do see Link has been bumpered.
Well, I was going to say Exalty till that happened. So, you know what? I was never going to say Exalty. I knew it was going to be Sprout this entire time. You can't correct me. You have no evidence of the contrary. As we see Dexter even getting ahead of MiQuattro right now. Sprout, they don't need an ace, but I'm sure they would love it. That tight line, though, for Dexter actually might hold as well as MiQuattro's did. Scrappy, if they can hold that P1, it should be good from the Sprout side of things. Dexter just has to say that over second ahead from Link. So we make our way over the banks towards the end of this one. I don't know. Sprout's looking pretty clean right now, man.
I mean, but Mick is there. I mean, he only needs first position and we get another round. But if it stays as it is, Sprout go 2-0 up in the best of 5. So MiQuattro just go for it. Just send it. Oh, that's a very early. Oh, Mickey is going for it. What a low jump by him, but it's not going to be enough. Scrappy's end is too good with a 0.4 as well. What a way to end this one. It's a 9-10. Close, but still too far to take that track point.
108.4. Correct me if I'm wrong. That might be Scrappy's record on this track.
I mean, you are the official stats man for today, so you can look it up.
Sure that was a record one at the end. I mean, I'm using a website that tracks this one. If that's accurate, his record previously was 108.5. So a little PV right there, at least within the context of the Challenger Leagues. Well done, Scrappy, enough to push this team ahead, and it's now set point for Sprout. If they can take Pool out, they're going to be 3-0, and that is a great way to start this best of 2. Yeah,
technically, it could be possible. Exalty could still reverse sweep, everything's possible, don't count the man team out yet. We've seen some miraculous things happen in Challenger. It's all very much possible. But for now, at least, it is going to be the case where Exalty have all of the work to do. And I've been keeping an eye on Dexter as well. He has been practicing a lot on the stream, and I'm sure he does that also offline as well. Unfortunately, Link and MiQuattro don't stream. Would recommend getting on that. We could actually see them practice as well. But for now, Scrappy is the one who needs to practice the start of it, as Dexter is the one to hold Exalty and maybe get a draw out of this round.
Yeah, I'll see if they're going to be able to find it. Scrappy, of course, following back. Pool, according to the numbers I have in front of me, have been a little bit of an interesting one. Neither of these teams have found that much success, which is why I'm a little bit surprised, Exalty opted to take it. However, Sprout, it is one of their, more struggling affairs, as you can see already, with Scrappy having been fallen a bit behind. The times we're going to be looking for are going to be around that 105 mark. And want to know a fun fact again? According to the stats I have in front of me, both Dexter and Scrappy stare the exact same PB at 105.439.
I mean, that's just pure camaraderie at this point, but Dexter needs a bit more than this because MiQuattro is a very good technical player, and this map really suits him well, and we see that already. We start off with a 105.3, a very good time to start us off. Dexter gets a 0.5, Link with a 0.7, And there is a victory for Exalty, actually taking the lead of this map as well. I mean, it is their pick, so you would say that, at least for now, Pool. Of course, you say it's an unorthodox pick. You say that in the last match of the group stage, Exalty picked Frosty, which they have been Burma manning the entire season. So, you know, who are we to talk? We're not the coaches for these teams, so we don't know absolutely nothing.
Well, here's the thing, right? That time right there, best time Exalty has had on this track. That was actually 1/10 faster than McQuattro's previous PB within the scope of the Challenger League. So there you go. It's clear they've been working on this. Probably aware, you know, Sprout's been struggling, so you put the time in the track that your opponents aren't good at, showing why this pick is strong. And if Exalty's going to be showing that kind of form throughout, well, this could be the start. I know it's way too early to say reverse sweep. It's only 1 point lead, but I'm going to say it anyways. The reverse sweep is happening. It's completely real. Not cursing anything. Sprout's in trouble.
I mean, currently Scrappy is looking down the barrel and looking to snipe Link at the moment. He has a good entry here. Link usually does. Oh, but Link does flip the corner, but Mick has so much more speed. And that is going to be the difference maker. And I don't know. I do believe Dexter is a bit too far to take advantage of it. It is going to be a 0.6, and indeed so. So another victory for Exalty to start or at least end the second round here. 4-2. I mean, at this pace, 3 more rounds, mathematicians can confirm it's going to be 10-5.
10. It's a big
there you go.
one. I mean,
do math as you cast, always a good idea.
Yep.
But at least I like to know that I can count and do math within preliminary school, at least within the 10, you know.
If you're relying on an Australian who is awake at 2:30 in the morning to be doing your basic arithmetic for you, we're all in trouble, all right? So all the math stuff, I'm leaving to you, okay? I can just say the numbers. It's your job to piece them together and make sense of them.
Well,
that's the rule.
Well, I'll do that for you. You can read the very nice sources that we have for all of the times and stats. And for now, at least, it's looking to be that Exalty are looking to go for another victory here. But this time it is Dexter instead of Scrappy up in front. So they do have a lot more of a formidable opponent this time. Mick has been really good in this end. Hopefully I haven't caster cursed this, because usually I have literally my bio says professional caster curse at this point, because might as well embrace it. But Dexter goes for the line here, and it seems everybody gets it clean. Even I don't have the power to do this to Mick. And a 0.2 as well for Dexter, and he went rather wide in the end. That could have been a very low 0.2 as well. Very nice time for Dexter, and it shows once he gets past the start, it's smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a fantastic time from McCulty right there. I mean, technically that would have beaten, from Dexter, that would have beaten the previous PB we've seen in the league. So players are stepping up, except for Link, who has stepped down at the start of this next round and has already found himself behind. Didn't take long for that early bonk. And again, okay, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but like my entire view of Pool, it feels like at the start of the season, no one knew how to hit the identity effectively. And like as more and more teams have really discovered that fast line, it's become more and more competitive and not BS plus kind of running away with it every single time.
I mean, Pool, you know, the Pool has nostalgia in it. It's not the first time this identity is. It's a rework back from an older TMCL season. But it is so, well, you know, wet wheels are always a hazard, you know. You never know what you're going to... And we've seen plenty of moments where heartbreaks on this identity, and we see that currently McQuattro is hopefully going to deliver one for Sprout, as he has such a good exit every single time. But can Dexter go for an inside line? Not this time. It's going to be a close affair. Scrappy has overtaken Link on the line as well, so it's going to be a draw, and it is a 6-4 as well. I mean, it's once you nail it down, it's so satisfying to see them go through it. But we've seen, like I said, so many heartbreaks in that identity. We've seen in TMCL, Challenger, you know, moments of absolute utter belief. Team is in an ace position and it's a cube. That's literally then it's a cube. That's literally all there is to it.
Would you say? Okay, actually, let's continue the string. Which has led to more heartbreak, Pool or off-road?
For sure. I'm gonna say Pool. Do you remember G1 versus KC? That end there, aware. I cannot fathom. There's
bigger heart.
It still is in my heart.
So impact-wise, fair enough. But I think on frequency, off-road, I don't know, just seems to destroy people. But we'll talk more about that if we ever get to off-road. Right now, this is actually looking pretty good for Exalted. They have the 1-2. Scrappy's right up there. Dexter is the one who's fallen themselves a little bit behind. heading into this identity. And I really want people to pay attention to what McQuattro has been doing at this turn right here. Every time they have so much speed, but they get that little wiggle, maintain it. They're the only driver I see doing that consistently. Just like Link is the only driver consistently having uh-oh moments. It's another draw as Sprout sneaks by.
Yeah, but it's thin lines. If Sprout get a good round, if they get into an ace position, I feel like that's where the pressure's put on. Yes, you might be in the lead, but if Sprout is an ace away, that could be a very hazardous position. Of course, Exalty have their ace position here as well. If they can get a track point, if they get an ace. And to be honest, Exalty have been the team that have been the closest to an ace. It's always been just one of the members of Sprout constantly just thwarting the plans, you know, being there just to take away the points, and they are in touching distance. So far, everybody's having a clean round here as well. So I feel like we're gonna go into the more easier section of the map as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, the classic line, if your bingo board is up there, we're gonna come down and it's gonna be decided most likely in the identity.
Yeah, it is going to be the case, and Sprout holding down to that ace position right now. McQuattro has pulled a couple tricks out of the bag. They're going to have to do a big one right here, and they may have it through the first turn. You can see how much more momentum they had, but they couldn't hold it through turn 2. Yet Scrappy gets a little out of sorts. That's going to be a big loss. McQuattro going in super deep, toe-to-toe with Scrappy, but has to finish in front. Cannot. It is an ace for Sprout, and all of a sudden, both teams in position to win it in round 7.
Yep, all of a sudden, that nice lead that they've been accumulating throughout the entire one, that was a great round as well. Whole thing is that was a close one affair. Scrappy pulling in the strings when needed. McQuattro, very close indeed, but wasn't enough in the end. And now both teams on track point. Sprout looking to get the match point, of course, but that won't be the end of this series. That will only put them 1-0 up in the sets. And as Dexter has a moment with the hole, Scrappy is the one that has to make all of the glory happen here. I feel like he has a really good exit, overtakes Link here as well. And with the current positions, we would be going to 9-9 as well. But it's so close to call. They're really neck and neck. Link will give us the best perspective of everybody involved here. Can they actually go for this? McQuattro has had insane ends, but Scrappy has been up to par here as well. So it could be possible that Link could be the clinching linchpin here. But Scrappy and McQuattro 1v1. McQuattro has the better exit. Scrappy's gonna go for it, but he's gonna be too far. McQuattro has a bit of an awkward slide, but holds out until the end. And it is a victory, 9-9. And we are close to a possible overtime on pool as well.
Whew. By the way, a 105.3 that time. McQuattro absolutely cooking up something. Tied round going into this last one. And again, watching that ending, there was a brief moment where it looked like Scrappy wound up on 2 wheels, and that was the difference between first and second after the third turn in that identity. So this is what it comes down to, unless, of course, there's a draw, in which case, you know, then the overtime chance start, and we wind up here all day long, in which I'm here for, maybe for a later match, not the first. But I do want to see Exalty turn this first set into a bit more of a back-and-forth affair. At the moment, though, Scrappy and Dexter, they're nice and paired together. They were almost on the exact same line until Scrappy kept it a little bit cleaner. And actually, as Yus had to catch up to McQuattro, the two neck and neck. As Scrappy goes a bit further inside, tries to slide to maintain that speed, does not work in their favor. McQuattro back in P1, and if they hold it as it is, we are going to get an overtime.
But it is Sprout are breathing down the lap of McQuattro. One little slip of the finger, and it's all done. Link hits the cube, so it's all up to McQuattro. He has to hold on, but he has a very wide exit. Can he actually overtake? Dexter hits the checkpoint. No! McQuattro hits the cube. And what's happening? Scrappy hits the cube as well. What is happening? Ain't no way Sprout take this round with a 106.8. Oh, God forbid. And that's match point. Yeah, that's one way to end pool, I guess.
Saving the best for last.
Yeah, I don't know what to really say. We'll be switching on to our point of view, of course. That is the first set taken by Sprout. They go 1-0. We will be going into the next best of 5s, and if Sprout take that one, Exalty's playoffs fairy tale is ending rather quickly, to be honest. But I feel like, I hope they go into the match and change a few things up, see what worked, what didn't, and maybe a different pick and ban as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously something has to change, right? Like when you have that start, and I can understand the pool choice again from Exalty, even though they struggled on it before. You saw straight away they had worked on it, but the consistency not there. And every time things got chaotic, it did feel like Sprout was that one team having someone that little bit further ahead. So super well done, obviously, to that Sprout side. Granted, not over yet. It is a best of two with a, one-off tiebreak should we come to it at the end. So Exalty still has the time to bring it back, but I have to worry momentum-wise. Getting swept with two of the maps that you selected, that can't feel good.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. We'll go on a quick short break and we'll be coming back to see the second match between the two of the teams. Don't go too far, we'll go on a short one and then we'll be right back. So stick with us. Welcome back. A short break indeed, but we have plenty of Trackmania ahead of us. A lot to do, of course. Kriidy and Max Formal, it is the two of us. It won't change, and we will be here for the entire evening to entertain you and hopefully keep you entertained throughout the evening. But the first match, I will say, it was very close. But a 3-0, I don't think it was what we really expected out of this one, at least from the best of 5. And it is a volatile best of 5 as well. I think it can go either way. We still have one more to go still, or a best of 1.
Yeah, we will see if it does come down to that decider, which would be a lot of fun. But as we were kind of talking, as we sort of head out into that break, to come back from getting swept 3-0, I mean, you have to rechange your entire strategy, the entire sort of maps that you want to kind of hit. And especially considering the fact that now going into it, Sprout's going to have selection out, essentially the priority for tracks 1 and 3. Something which Exalty may have fumbled a bit. It feels like a monumentous ask from them, which is surprising again because, Exalted, they were the higher seed. They technically were one map better. Yes, that was the difference between these two seeds. Out of the entirety of everything, it was a one map difference. And, well, that one map did them no good.
Yeah, of course, for those of you joining as well, just to give you an update as well, because I see some people asking, the PS Plus Orcs Numelops Caves game has been postponed to another date. The exact date is yet to be determined, but I'm sure that will be given as soon as possible once that has been determined. But it does mean most likely that you might see a surprise Challenger League stream for one match, but we'll have to wait and see for that one. But for now, it is Exalty's work to be cut out. I mean, everything set aside, if they take your map picks, of course it was very close. I mean, do you change something around now is the question. Do you stick with what you have? Do you think it was good enough? Or do you think, you know, maybe something else? Maybe whip out a Frosty again, you know, maybe that will work. I don't know
No.
how well it will
No,
go
jeez.
against Sprout though.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Also, can I just quickly add, all right, I find it hilarious the way how fates aligned. You bring in the BS Plus expert on the day where BS Plus has their match postponed.
I mean, that's perfectly. You don't have to. You don't do the POV. You're here to reminisce that you're gonna do PS Plus next time. Perfect. Easy clap.
All I can say is like that last matchup was great and all, but BS Plus would have done it better. I don't know how. I don't know why, and this is completely biased for being the BS Plus caster up until this point, but they would have done it better, all right? That's just a cold, hard fact.
Yeah, and technically it's also conflict of interest. Good point there by the guy in chat.
Yeah,
If we had a PS Plus
yeah,
Orcs game,
yeah, that's it.
then I think it would be a bit unfair for one of the teams, you know. Or I just have to be the guy supporting Orcs Numalops, basically. But either way, soon we will get into the match. We just have time to reminisce on what we're gonna get. Yeah, I don't really know. I feel like when I think about it, Exalty really didn't do anything wrong. They were actually really good. It's just that if they can, you know, fix a few of those rounds that didn't go their way, I think it can easily be the other way around. But pick and ban starts.
I don't want to rag on one player too hard, but I mean, it does feel like the unforced errors out of Link really were detrimental that first time around, but they can turn it back. Like, I trust they can bring it. So it's not as if this should be a reoccurring thing. You said it at the start, playoffs hit different. And for a team that was even fortunate to be in the Challenger League this season, the fact that they've gotten this far and in that number 3 seed, or actually, I think it's the number 4 seed. I'm not too. I got to double check on that. The higher seed, though, in this matchup, it is the number 4 seed. You do have that sort of expectation on you. First pick, though, it's going to be Control.
Yeah, so we will go the similar path. Do we see any change? Control. It's actually Sprout who changed it up. It's Grip. Then we have Vortex as well. So clearly, you know, a bit of cooking's been on the background. They've been like, nope, not this map this time. Sinus as well. Oh boy, we are going completely the other direction. This is the only thing that we have this time common is Control. Everything else completely new. So you're gonna get pretty much everything today, at least from the first matchup.
Here's what the random map isn't going to change. It is going to go back to the pool. So no Airwalk, and that surprises me actually, because I felt like that was almost, you know, Sprout's strongest map from what we saw in that first set. It is what it is, though. I mean, again, they're opting to go for Vortex instead, which I think might be up there for the most popular track we've seen out of everyone. So I am keen to mix it up a little bit and see some chances for redemption as well from that Exalty side. I'm also super excited to get ourselves in this, and it should be worth noting. I have to bring it up. No Frosty allowed. It was technically the first ban, all right? No one wants Frosty.
I mean, it's like I said, Exalty have been perma-banning this in the entire season. Usually it happens that if Exalty don't ban it, then usually it has been a Sprout to ban it as well. So, but for now, we move on to the first map. It is Control. We start off with the same banger as we did last time. It was still a pretty close affair last time, but again, it was one of those cases where one round didn't go the other team's way, and it really flipped the script around. But Control, I mean, I will say this, Control, my favorite map of the map pack. It has ups and downs, undulations, it has so much fun to watch. Identity can be a bit spinning. If you don't, of course, but for these players, it's consistent. I mean, you know, it's basically, well, I say consistent. You still need to push, and of course, if you push, you know, things cannot go always your way. But we'll see how it goes this time around. Sprout took it last time. Can Exalty rectify it?
I'd like to believe that they can. I'd like to believe that they can find a way. I mean, it is their chance, but at that same token, Dexter is so good on this track in particular. Like, this really has felt like Dexter's track in some key moments. And I believe, all right, this is going to be a bold statement right now, but I want to see someone get that 1010.1. I mean, we've seen both Dexter and Panda get close to it. I want to see it happen. How big would that be if we get a new world record here right
Max,
now?
I don't think you're ambitious enough. I think these players have a 109 in them. Clearly,
oh, well,
I think
my stats are outdated.
It is in the cooking, of course. It's in the script somewhere. I don't know which page a 109 is, but we'll have to wait and see. But to be honest, Scrappy doesn't have a best start, so it is Dexter to fight it out again with McQuattro. I mean, it is a common duo. I mean, McQuattro and Dexter always up front fighting for the first position, and Link always there. He's shadowing his teammate, making sure that if there's one little thing that can go wrong, there is going to be that chance to take that. But for now, Dexter is holding the line, hopefully getting a draw out of this one. All of them get the jump. Very nice and clean. No really difference in speed. McQuattro does have a slightly bit more, and Dexter has a bit of a moment. Link has a bit of a moment. So it is Scrappy to come in second position. Dexter does get it on the second time of asking, and it is going to be your classic draw to start us off.
Hey, that's better than what we've been seeing from Exalty in the past. McQuattro still that rock, just holding the team down, exactly what they needed in that kind of position. But a little bit disappointing, actually. Dexter had a good time cooking. Like, they had, you know, a couple links in front of everyone. It was a couple tenths. And until they had that unfortunate incident, well, it could have been theirs as we start off this next round. I always love to start everyone so close together as we kick it off. It isn't until we get later into these rounds where we start to see that separation, but something I'm finding interesting, Dexter had so much confidence round one. Round two, they just seem a little bit off and a little bit behind, as nearly bonking before jumping up right there. They got to get their head back in the game.
I mean, we've seen it. The first set of matches is done, so you cannot really say that you're gonna come into this match cold at this point. They literally played this map the first time of asking as well. So now it's up to pure execution. No, there is no more excuses. Of course, granted, the later maps are not the maps we had beforehand, but Control should be now where it should come down to pure annihilation by one of the teams. As Link is in the mix, McQuattro will give us the best point of view from everybody involved. Who's willing to push it? Dexter pushes a bit too much, but Scrappy's there to take the draw, and it is a close round, but again, our draw keeps us going.
You know what my favorite thing about that draw is? Everyone would be like kind of tied points-wise. We just flipped the results from round one into round two. With Dexter back and forth now, and again, Scrappy winning that one. Last time it was the other way around. Link and McQuattro switched places as well. It's definitely looking like we are getting some consistent results, and it's good to see Exalty has woken up a little bit. However, starting off round three, all Sprout through those first couple decisive turns. Dexter, such a dangerous line, doesn't really work in their favor, and it's all McQuattro right now, except they had a bit too much up on the jump. They lose that momentum, and now Scrappy clearly in P1.
Yeah, and we see that, I mean, as I said before, Exalty are not a team to give up. I mean, like we said before, they came literally from the rose as a phoenix from the ashes of relegation to come into this. So, I mean, if there's any team that has the most motivation to pull their way to the very end, I feel like Exalty are the ones, and we see that in this round as well. I mean, McQuattro and Link, Dexter and Scrappy, nothing really to separate them. We're gonna come down to the identity. Your classic, your usual, but who's gonna get it this time? Link does release just to make sure he gets an earlier landing and does pay off. McQuattro does have a bit of a slowdown on the landing.
Here comes Scrappy
sending it and
here comes Scrappy.
It clean.
Oh!
There it is, ace for Sprout. And it's looking to be like last time, Max. It's looking to be exactly like last time.
Talk about pulling the trigger, though, in a big-time moment, though, right? Scrappy coming up huge through that second part of the identity. They risked it because why not? You're in P4, go for it. Fantastic stuff from Sprout, and yeah, we're picking right up where we left off. This team is looking so good right now, and unfortunately for Exalty, that was one of the few times both of their drivers have had a completely clean run today, and it still wasn't enough. They still found themselves getting ace, so they're going to have to up that risk factor through the identity. They're going to have to be a little bit more willing to send it, and whether or not they can maintain it each and every time like we were seeing from Dexter, like we're seeing from Scrappy, I don't know. Obviously, as we go through the mini identity, very high line from McQuattro. They've got a lot of speed, but not quite as much as Link, who gets himself right in it, and with that bonk, McQuattro might be out.
Yeah, he is a bit behind, but he's not too much behind. It is 1 second, so again, he has to rely on a few respawns in the identity. So it is up to Link to secure first position, and then let fate decide in the end. Currently, good start here. Link holding up the front. Dexter and Scrappy are going to be the ones chasing them down. They have good low jumps, but Link is forward enough that he holds on to first position, gets the draw when it's necessary, and keeps Exalty in the mix. So it is a good round by Link, gets it when it matters, and now it is up to McQuattro to join him up front as well and get an ace to get us to 6-all potential.
It also should be worth noting, Scrappy went for that same line again that we saw the round previous, but had to ease up at the end. They had a little bit too much speed, so definitely the confidence being felt from Scrappy right now, willing to send it on that identity. And realistically, especially as we get later into the playoffs, dude, like that's going to be the difference between the top and the bottom teams, right? Who is going to pull off those risks in those key moments? Well, right now it is kind of looking a lot better for Exalty. They are the ones out in front. They are the ones holding 1-2, but Link again actually gets caught up. Scrappy has just been taking so many crazy lines, it feels like, the only one driving his own track and working out for them as a whole. Unfortunately for Scrappy, Dexter has fallen considerably behind, back down in 1 and 2. If Link can hold this position, if McQuattro can have another strong finish, Exalty could tie us up.
I might have leaked the script a bit. Didn't I say at the start of this round that an ace would be a 6-all affair? Well, it seems that Exalty are gonna do exactly that. Scrappy has a bit of an awkward landing, but Exalty are looking to get an ace on the board here. Scrappy goes for it, but the gap is too much, and it is indeed an ace for Exalty, bringing us to 6-all. And would you know it, Caster calls it, and it magically happens. How did I know? No idea whatsoever, but it means that we're still not out of it, and we're gonna have some good stuff to make sure that we're gonna get a good and very nice match still for this set.
It's proper etiquette that you share the script with your co-caster, by the way. I don't know why the document you sent me just said, haha, loser, get wrecked. Clearly, I thought that's what was going to be happening with Exalty. I thought you were talking about Exalty. Okay, fair enough. I thought you were just talking about Exalty at first, but apparently that's not the case. You were just there to set me up, you know, to dogpile on Link a little bit as they were struggling, but now they start to bring it back, and now they look great. And Link in particular actually has stepped up so far in this second set, right up there with Sprout right now as they go high through the mini identity, staying right with Dexter. Scrappy is the one falling a little bit behind, but we know Scrappy brings it at the end of these tracks. He's going to have to if he's going to want to catch up to both Dexter and Link, as Link staying toe-to-toe with the Sprout member, but it is the tighter line from Dexter pulling them ahead into the identity. We go high for Dexter, a bit lower for Link, but they land a bit wider. Do they maintain the speed? It's about the same. McQuattro as well, having a little peek once again in there. Scrappy's falling back, but goes for that tight inside line. Doesn't get it. Instead, it's another draw.
Oh, it is a draw. 7-7. Both teams on track point. It is, of course, for those of you keeping a track of the match as well on the top as well, you can see that Sprout are 1 set ahead. They did win the previous best of 5. So, you know, but I'm sure chat will always more than happy to fill anybody in that is slightly clueless, as they always do. And Dexter is slightly clueless on that corner, and that is indeed a Yep tree as well. So Scrappy, first place or track point for Exalty with an ace possibly.
Oh, I mean, this actually opens up the ace for Exalty right here, right? Scrappy can ill afford a mistake, and with both the Exalty members just nipping at his heel, this actually could be a disaster for Sprout. If they let this one slip, Exalty is completely back in this series. However, Scrappy has been so confident through these identities. McQuattro has as well. He's able to take it through the mini. Let Scrappy pull off another miracle run. They're super wide, lost a bit of momentum, not enough for Link to catch him immediately. It's not till the second turn across that beam. And as we get into that pivotal moment, what magic does Scrappy have in them? Can Link bring it back? Here we go. Scrappy goes so low, trying to maintain that speed. It's a tight landing as well, but not the cleanest. McQuattro pulls full their head, and now Link gaining on the Sprout member. Goes high, Scrappy goes low, lands it clean, saves the ace, and keeps Sprout in it.
Yeah, I mean, Scrappy is absolutely sending that identity. That is a very low jump. Good race between the two. But McQuattro holds on to first place as needed, and Link holds up the third position. Minimum required, but it is a precarious position. 9-8 the score. Exalty, minimum they need is a draw. Victory for Sprout is going to be an overtime, and an ace for Sprout, of course, gives them the track points. So very volatile indeed in regards to track score as well. And it's looking to be anybody's game at this point. I mean, with the first person to falter, I feel like we'll give away the track point here. Scrappy does have to let go of the accelerator to just avoid that corner, so falls a bit behind. But overall, everybody's in the mix, everybody's game to take, and Exalty looking to be in prime position to do so, as Dexter and Scrappy are the ones that have to chase down a 0.3 of a gap at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's always such a better position to be in the 9 instead of the 8 because your goal is to not come last, whereas Sprout, realistically, they have to have someone come first. So Sprout is the team that's going to be taking the risk. Sprout is the team with the pressure, and yet Link is the one who had a little bit of a moment. It is Link who is behind, and now McQuattro has to hold on to P1. So just in one moment, the pressure gets flipped, and again, we've seen how good Scrappy is through this identity. Can they chase down McQuattro in first? Will McQuattro be able to land it clean? They go quite high. Scrappy again goes low, but is not going to find it. That's going to be the draw. That's going to be the game. Exalty goes up 1-0.
Yeah, they rectify their mistake, and with a good time as well. 0.440 as well. What a way to get into and get back into the match as well. Of course, our next map will be great, but clearly they fixed the issue from before. Last time it didn't go so well on control, but seems that the confidence was there, which I talked about before as well. You know, they were confident that it just didn't go that well in the first iteration. They clearly were a lot more consistent, a lot more cleaner. Execution was there, and they pull it to 10-9, a close affair still. But now we go on to a little bit of taste of a grip, so we'll see how things will go there. If you can fill us in on stats, you're more than welcome to always do so.
Yeah, all right. Make me do all the hard work. Let me bring out my sheets. All right, initial impression on this one, Sprout. 3 for 3, undefeated on this track, so not surprising they find themselves going into it with Dexter, of course, putting up one of the best times we have seen. But again, it has been the Panda show overall on this one. I mean, but it kind of feels like it's the Panda show on every map. Either way, Exalty has had mixed success on this one, 50% win rate compared to the 100%, so you would think the advantage should be going to Sprout, and even when you look at like kind of those average times, even then Sprout has that advantage. So really high probability that Sprout equalizes us back up when this one's all said and done. However, come playoffs, we don't know what the teams have been cooking. You never know. Exalty could surprise.
I mean, you would, as Exalty, you would expect that Grip will be coming out at some point as well. So I'm pretty sure they were somewhat prepared, but Sprout, it is a map pick for them. And as you said, they are undefeated on this one. So it will take quite a bit of effort for Exalty to take this one. As we see at the moment, there's already half a second of a gap here. Let's see how things will go here. Currently everybody is going nice and tight. Dexter has a bit of a moment, but McQuattro hits the ball on the inside. Link is able to overtake, but can Dexter hold up in front? Oh my god, he literally risks for the biscuit there around the corner. That was almost 90 degrees on 2 wheels and takes the ace for Sprout. What a way to end it.
After bonking, to have the confidence to not play it safe at all, but go for that move just for the ace. I mean, the round was won, but yeah, Sprout, they're not here just to win rounds. They want domination, it seems. So fantastic start for them on this one. And for Exalty, maybe a little frustrating. That one got behind them, but with a little bit of a moment for Dexter at the start. This could be their way back in. Dexter actually, I think, had to go do a full reset almost. They barely made the jump back up as well, so they're well and truly out unless Exalty experiences a complete disaster.
I mean, you know, counter ace seems to be on the menu here at the moment. At least Exalty are cooking up a nice Michelin star meal. It has ace on it. Can they execute the fine ingredients? We'll have to wait and see. Scrappy is the one to deny here. McQuattro and Link are looking rather good here. But they cannot really afford to save this identity. I'm pretty sure Scrappy will be sending this or trying to push it as much as possible. You can see on those 2 wheels, but currently Exalty's lines are going to be good enough, it feels like. The execution is there. Scrappy!
What?
Both members of Exalty have a acceleration a bit too late, 1 input too much, and Scrappy takes it. It's a draw in the end. Oh, that can happen quite often. It was just 1 input too much to the left, and your line is going to be so much wider, and it allows Scrappy to come in and snipe it away.
That was such a sick snipe. I mean, Scrappy hit that identity about as perfect as you can right there to make it happen. Absolutely sick right now. Pop it off for that. Let these kids cook. I'll serve you something special. Also, can I add, most Zoomer memes, terrible, but the let him cook one that came out, brilliant, all right? You did well on that one, Zoomers. Hats off to you there. And now I just ruined it for everyone. You're welcome.
Yeah, I think I have another one here for Exalty this round. The mud is calling. That's another one there in the books there, because McQuattro is very far behind and Link is the only one that can do something about this. I mean, if these are the rounds where you just have to go for it. I mean, Sprout are 4-1 up, and if they get this ace, they're going to be 7-1. So I mean, and that is not the way.
When they get this ace. At this rate.
I mean, I tried to encourage Link. Didn't go so well.
Nah. You gotta join the dark side and blaming all of Exalty's problems. No, I joke. I don't actually blame all of their problems on Link. Link actually has done a good job stepping up so far the second set, but not this time around, at least, as McQuattro's just going to go ahead and DNF.
And it's he's taking a moment. He's taking a moment. It doesn't matter. You know, it's 4th place. You can go out of sight the map. If you're 4th place, it doesn't really make a difference in the outcome. But it does allow him to take a moment to reflect. Maybe he needed a moment, you know, talk with Link a bit, you know, take a moment to talk, you know, okay, you know, it's not going so well. We're 7-1 down, you know, maybe a quick mental reset, you know, take the time. Some players actually do use that time. I've noticed it as well. If there's been like player camps, for example, for TMCL, you notice it as well. Like, if you know you're gonna be 4th anyway, very fight apart, then you can use it that time to practice the identity, or you get to talk with your teammate, you know. You don't have to use a tactical break for that, so, you know, easy clap.
And actually, that's a good point, too, because, like, in a lot of other esports, you will see, like, the timeouts be used in situations, but Trackmania really doesn't have that luxury as readily available, so it is a smart technique, and do we see a bit of a, I'm going to call it a timeout buff if Exalty brings it back. They do need it, and Scrappy did struggle and did McQuattro. I don't know where they were going, checking out the scenery, perhaps, as this is probably the last time we could see them on this map, so enjoy it while you can. From last place. However, Link does a good enough job to take us into at least one more round, as Sprout will only find themselves with 2 points.
I mean, chat, where do you believe? The only thing that Exalty need now is 3 aces. Interview any believers in chat? Asking away anyone believing 3 aces for Exalty. Anyone?
Right, let me write in chat. No, I'm not a believer.
I mean, it is. I mean, technically, it is doable. But it's gonna be proving to be a tough task because Exalty haven't had the best time on this map, and it shows why Sprout are the team to enjoy this and why they are undefeated here as well. And it's looking to be that they're gonna keep that streak going. So for at least for future reference, if somehow Sprout do get into the next round, then wait, Scrappy survives that somehow as well. He has a nose. Well, it's not a nose bug, but it's a nose landing. But survives?
Yeah, new line. I mean, Scrappy just launched himself over the corner as opposed to taking it, and you can see, like, they're completely thrown off. The next few turns are a little ugly as well. Unfortunate for Scrappy, but also unfortunate to Link, who has a bonk moment, and they had the ace, Exalty. It was there for them, but now it is Dexter out in front, McQuattro right behind, but it's Link who needs the miracle of Dexter. Keeps it clean. You know they do. Sprout ties this set back up. We're back to 1 apiece.
Yep, it seems that, yeah, Exalty were in an ace position, but it seems Dexter was not going to give them any chance whatsoever. But we are going into the next map, and 3-10, 1-1, and it is Vortex of all maps to be next as well. Oh, let's just say Vortex is an interesting one, to say the least. I don't remember Sprout having the most enjoyable time. I do believe McQuattro is very consistent, and to be honest, Link as well, so I feel like it's a good pick for Exalty.
You say that, but Exalty doesn't seem like they have the strong record on this track, as they have kind of struggled a bit in the past, but I'm looking over my numbers right now. I'm not going to rely on them. Oh, wait, no, that's fine, actually. Maybe I am. Yeah, it has been rough for Exalty. I thought the math was wrong and more teams had lost than one, like it wasn't the even 50-50. And I was like, somehow 2 teams have lost one time around. But no, it is the case. Exalty only 2 for 5 compared to Sprout's 4 for 6 on this track. So, interesting one. But,
Dexter falls off the pipe to start us off, so that's not a good start for Sprout. So, I mean, I'm saying Exalty have the consistency. But will they have the pace? I mean, Dexter does hold the Challenger League record here, but I believe McQuattro doesn't have a shabby time as well on this one. I don't know about the Link's time, but of course you can update us on that one.
Yeah, I can take a quick look right there. Link's time, it's only 105.794 for Link, so not too terrible, just a little bit behind the likes of McQuattro. But yeah, you are right when it comes to this one. I mean, it does feel like Sprout has the better times. Dexter's 105.393, definitely something to look out for. And even then, when you look at Scrappy as well, like they've also put up 105.6s. So Sprout's going to be very fast on this one, is what I'm getting at. But not in the first round. In the first round, they're going to be incredibly far behind. No chance of coming back in it. It's going to be the ace for Exalty. And this is what I mean. Just because, actually, it's you brought it up. You said before, all the stats from everything previously doesn't matter. This is playoffs, baby. And if you've been cooking, well, Exalty serves up that big ace to start us here.
Yeah, I feel like I have said, I feel like at least as much as I watch Challenger League, I do religiously watch a lot of the stuff because I do my own Excel sheets for this as well. I feel like a lot of times Exalty have been very consistent on this one, but of course it has been the pace that has been the difference. I don't know, of course, the exact stats of mistakes and when they've happened, but I feel like at least consistency-wise, that's been usually the motto for Exalty. I feel like that has been the case for Vortex as well, but I mean, there's a reason why Dexter has the Challenger League record here. So it's, again, the age-old testament of will pace out to consistency. It will be to see.
All right, I want to bring up a question for you right now as we make our way through round 2. Obviously, Dexter, you were saying before, not quite as strong as we saw in Season 1, but do you think they're still in that running for the MVP this time around for Season 2 for the Challenger League? Because I still almost want to give him my vote.
I'm going to be honest, it's Panda. I mean, I know alternate attacks have been swiping teams left, right, and setup, but Panda, second half of the season, man, has been absolutely insane. And I feel like McQuattro, to some extent, deserves it as well. And Link, we see, has a respawn. It will be a draw. I mean, McQuattro, he's really an MVP of this team as well. And we see he holds out first position, gets a draw here at the moment. I mean, we take, of course, alternate attacks lineup. You have Dexter, you have McQuattro, you have Panda. There's a lot of good players there that are in the mix, and you have a good, solid top 5 there. I mean, you know what, actually, now that actually makes me think, what would you think would be, just pitching an idea, top 5 players of Challenger League go up against the top 5 of Grand League, or the lowest 5 of Grand League? Interviewing? I mean, could be a nice show match, for
Make
all
it
stars.
6.
I'm just saying.
Make it 6 and I'm sold. 6 aside.
I mean, we could have a nice, all-star match, show match between the best players of Challenger League and such. I mean, could be a fun way to do things, but just throwing out an idea. But for now, at least, Exalty are looking towards an idea of taking Vortex here. McQuattro, at least not so much with this start. Maybe has to go back to the drawing board with that one. But Sprout, I mean, Link is up front, but an ace would benefit them quite well here.
Yeah, that it would. Link still holding that position. I mean, 5 aside, 6 aside, both would be pretty great. I'm with you on that. You could almost run it elimination style, too, as you go through all the tracks. That could be a lot of fun, but who's having fun right now? Link is actually holding that P1 position to draw. Obviously does Exalty some favors. He'll keep them that nice, safe 3-point lead. Although as you go through the identity, so many runs end in disaster here. Dexter was able to keep it together, so they get across clean. McQuattro did not. They're well and truly out of this one, so it will be a draw in round 3. Exalty halfway to retaking the lead in this second set.
Yeah, that is indeed so. But again, like McQuattro has a rougher round, but Link is able to hold on. So that means, of course, that is the difference maker here as well. They're just gathering points. That ace that they got there as well is proving to be quite fruitful at the moment and keeping them up front as well. Whether they will be able to hold on to this is going to be a different story. Currently looking very good for Exalty, and if Link can keep it consistent, McQuattro can go for it. I feel like Exalty are going to take their map pick, and then we are going to go into the segment that I said before as well, which I was going to expect, that teams are going to take their own map picks, and then we'll go into a decider. Whether Sprout are going to allow that to happen, we'll have to wait and see. As for now, Exalty are looking to at least follow the script for now.
I mean, something we have to be mindful of, though, that random map pool. The map that Sprout won back in that first set, right? So Exalty's going to have to at least take one away from the Sprout side if we are going to go to that decider. For right now, though, things looking very good for the Exalty side. The consistency showing in spades as Dexter had a moment. Scrappy falls behind. Across the identity we go, and it's too good. Exalty too good on this track right now. They're going to get themselves another ace, and they're one round win away from taking the 2-1 set lead.
Yep, that is an 8-2 scoreline, and that is looking very favorable for Exalty, only needing 2 more points and going in the lead. Of course, a quick reminder as well that if Exalty take this best of 5, we will be going into a best of 1 decider. People, if anybody remembers stage 1, that produced some of the most, let's say, heartbreaks and some of the most insane rounds to be given. I'm sure Sprout would be like, yep, none of that please. A nice 2-0 would be very nice.
It would be so sick as Link finds himself slipping a little bit further behind. Again, though, it's all about that battle for P1 realistically, and I love how tight Sprout is. I mean, they are on nearly the same line right now in McQuattro. Just that little bit down as all 3 of the top 3, 1 car length apart. Link just waiting for that mistake to find a way back in at that turn, perhaps a little bit too tight for them. As over the jump, we finally saw a brief moment of variancy, very brief being that key word. McQuattro goes a little bit wider, holds the speed, and will be able to find 1 position across the balance beam, looking for the second. It's all on Link. If they can catch Dexter, they have the momentum. They go low, Dexter goes high. Now it's a nice dismount. Link gets it away from Sprout. A snipe by 1,000th of a second.
What a way to go there. Link pulls it through and puts Exalty on 2 track points and a potential, of course, for the match point as well. But we are moving on to Sinus. Now, it is a track that hasn't received a lot of love. It has received more love towards the second half of the season. But I will say it is one of those maps where, you know, it is a simple in mind again. It is, and to be honest, that identity, once you have it down, it's really hard to really catch somebody up unless you have a really good entry there, and that's what makes the difference there. But of course, I feel like Exalty were the first to really pioneer the Sinus, but Sprout have definitely been the one to, you know, take up on it as well, and I feel like there's a reason why they picked this as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna break the fourth wall a little bit, be a little bit honest. I have yet to actually cast this map. BS Plus has done this track 0 times throughout the season. So
I feel, isn't that their permaban?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's been their permaban. So I'm feeling a little bit nervous on this one. But yeah, coming into this Exalty, I mean, this has been their track. 4 for 5, 80% win rate compared to Sprout's only 1 for 3. When you look at the times, actually, Scrappy can be quite quick. Has, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the faster time in the Challenger League. So, you know, that's something in Sprout's favor. But it is the consistency that has been the thing holding them back right now. And again, something that we've noticed, the tracks that Exalty does seem to do well on is the ones where they feel consistent. And if they can each get strong finishes again and again and again, I do like their chances. Already into it, though. This is the first round right now, and it is, well, not really a consistent showing just yet from Link, who it feels like they always take a little bit to warm up in each of these rounds. The first round never goes their way.
I mean, you know, you start off with one little, you know, always the first round, you know, you get, it's not a map that they have played, you know, the last set didn't have any Sinus, and it was a short 3-0 as well. So, you know, you gotta get into it a bit as well. And Sinus, you know, it is, again, simple map on the surface, but there's enough in it that, you know, if you're not paying attention, you can get wedged on the ice. There's a corner there, a tree there, and then all of a sudden it's not looking as wondrous as it was before. But for now, at least, no incidences at the start. Scrappy does have a bit of a slower start, but he should be able to catch up with that drift line. There it is, the slingshot to come back into it as well. Everybody's neck and neck here. Quattro goes for a wider line, should have more speed coming into this segment. And now we are going into the ice, and there it is. There is the infamous wedge. Scrappy is able to catch it with a good timing on the accelerator, so not too far behind. But Dexter has really bad ice, and Exalty looking to take the ace here.
All they have to do is keep it together, I suppose. I almost feel like this is a track with two identities, because you have like that ice section and then the actual identity, which is this finish up that hill. But Exalty going to be very happy as they take that ace. And now with the 2-point lead, look, I thought their chances were slim before. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I thought this was going to be cruising for Sprout, but at this rate, we could be going to the decider map.
I don't even know what they're gonna go as a decider map. What is it gonna be this season? Last season, or not last season, last stage it was reps. For some ungodly reason, teams really wanted to go for reps. I don't know why they wanted to do so, and we see Link absolutely in the mud for this round. So it is now McQuarter to deny Sprout from a potential ace, which would bring them back into this match quite comfortably. But as always, Mick is the old reliable. And if there's one person you want to be up front to deny an ace, I would say Mick is probably a good man to do so.
Scrappy's so good on ice, though, when they can piece it together. Although Mick's line even better. That was so smooth. Mick able to take P1 away. Dexter having some struggles on the dismount. And McQuarter, he just pulling further and further away now. Scrappy's really going to need that mistake. And you said it. Who do you want to deny the ace? Mick, of course, and Mick does just that, finishes P1, Scrappy right behind, and Lynx, you know, small mistake, gets avenged, at least as best as it can. Exalty keeps their 2 points.
That is clean, Link! I mean, maybe I have to note down points for the Wicked Championship for Twiggy. That at least is 1 point for Link. That was clean as well. Not gonna, you know what, I'm gonna be a nice guy to Twiggy.
Like, was that intended, though? Because that's just it. Like, unless I see Link in the chat say, yeah, planned, I'm not sure it counts, all right?
Everything
I'm
is
not
planned
taking
if
accidental.
It works. If it works, it's always planned.
Well, it worked for P4, so I guess that's something.
I mean, that's how you get the Wicked points.
Bring it back.
But, I mean, McQuarter does pull it off, so towards Sprout's plans, but they might have another shot here, because it's reminiscent of the previous round. Mick chasing down Sprout, and Dexter and Scrappy are the ones. Oh, but they both have an unfortunate ice here. They have to catch the gear there, and it allows for Mick to touch the checkpoint. That is not looking good whatsoever. Mick now falls into third position, and with this identity, it doesn't lend itself to any mistakes, really, to be honest. And with Scrappy and Dexter up in front, I feel like this should be an ace for them. And with the camera angle, where did Scrappy go? Yeah.
Wait, what
happened to Scrappy?
Scrappy?
I completely missed that. I think he actually clipped the corner. So whatever I said about this identity being easy and consistent, forget whatever I said. Don't listen to me, clearly. I don't know nothing.
Caster Curse, you did it. You did the thing. You ruined it. Now all of Scrappy's fan base is going to come and blame you, and I'm not going to help you because I'm going to be amongst them. But no, this is such a must-win, again, sort of round as well for Exalty. Again, knowing that Pool is next, knowing that Sprout was going to win it out. And I was about to say, if Sprout got that ace, if they were 3 points away, it would be that disaster situation for Exalty right now. But instead, it's actually Exalty currently holding P1-2. It's Exalty looking to get themselves 1 point away. All four drivers, though, so tight with each other. As we approach that ice section, Dexter has a moment. They're going to be kind of out of it. It's up to Scrappy to deny the ace to keep Exalty within range. But even then, through that section, it wasn't as clean as it could have been. The dismount, though, looks nice. Gets in front of Link, who has a really wide line, so has the speed, possibly on McQuarter. Going into the identity, do we get redemption from the kid? Yes, we do. They steal P1. They save the ace.
Scrappy clearly shows that full speed training has come in handy. Goes for a wider line, gets more speed, and that entry allows him to overtake McQuarter on the line. What a great race as well. So, you know, that RMC and everything RMS does clearly work out for him. Plenty of styles he has to practice. But Exalty now, crucially, 1 ace away from taking this match point and bringing us to a best-of-1 decider. I mean, it is looking very good for Exalty. They've been in the mix, they have been putting in the effort, and clearly shows that the first set that they lost, not the indication and not the performance that they were looking for, and looking to rectify it here with a much more convincing performance. Sprout are against the wall here, and with this being Sprout's pick as well, It's not looking as comfortable as Scrappy does slide out on the ice, so it is Dexter to now crawl and draw out of this one.
Link slid out as
And
well.
Link has a mistake as well, which means Scrappy
And there
will
goes
overtake.
McQuattro.
Oh, McQuattro has a moment as well, but I think he just reaches the red booster, so it is fine, at least for McQuattro. But if everything stays as it is, it should be a victory for Sprout.
It very much well could be. I mean, again, Scrappy not going to make the same mistake twice on the identity. So Sprout brings it back within one, 8-7, and ace for Sprout takes us to pool. A round win for Exalty takes us to a deciding map, which, hey, it could wind up pool as well, right? Like, I'm not writing off the idea that pool could be a place where we return, but at this moment right now, if Exalty keeps it clean, they're going to look good. And I just want to briefly touch back. Dexter through that ice section that last time around, I think hit it the best I'd seen yet.
Well, it's gonna be needed again, because currently McQuattro does find himself a bit behind, so it does open up the gateway for Sprout to take this track point. Link really needs to put in the effort. He doesn't go for the drift line. You can see that there is a subtle difference. I feel like the drift does lend itself to more speed, but it seems to sort of even out when we get to this section. Dexter clips the inside yet again. The same mistake from the previous round. Is able to hold on to this one, but can Scrappy get back into McQuattro? Is pushing as well. Oh, they're gonna go for this. This is gonna come down to the end, isn't it?
Has to. Oh, but Scrappy is a little bit wide, wants to get as much speed as possible. Link with that tighter line. You can see Scrappy slowly gaining, inching through the checkpoint. Scrappy steals the lead away, and again, if they draw, Sprout's still in it, but Link on the tail end nearly had it. 12,000 off. Scrappy holds on, saves the round, and with that draw, Sprout still in it with a fighting chance.
Oh my god. Scrappy has been pulling when it matters. Dexter has been having a few struggles in the previous round, and Link and McQuattro, they've been relatively clean rounds. Yes, just ignore the ice. We know what happened there. It's the incident of the ice section of 2023 on Sinus. But overall, like Exalty are pushing ever so hard on this map. As Link pushes ever so hard into a tree, and this is now do or die for Mick. He needs to get first position, because second is overtime, and an ace is pool.
Yeah, I mean, Mick, it was a lightest of light box right there, and that's going to make this so much more difficult. If Scrappy and Dexter just get through these ice sections without sliding out, you have to feel like it is theirs. Down we go, clean slides, clean spins. Doesn't get more synchronized than that. I think Sprout might have it unless McQuattro can really pull the magic out of the hat, but I'm not feeling it. Too far back. They're risking the low line. It's not going to be there. All down to the identity. We saw Scrappy fumble it once, but not going to happen twice. Sprout gets the ace. Sprout gets the track, and we're going to pool.
Oh no, that is not how you want to end this one. Nice try, Link. Nice try. We'll give you the props for the effort. Close enough, but Sprout, I mean, they get it done. It's 9 and 11, and it is a pool to decide whether Sprout do 0 Exalty or Exalty get the best of one going. And like I said, it is gonna be pool of all maps as well. Oh boy, and last time it went in the favor of Sprout in the last set. But I feel like, again, this is going to be a close one. This is going to come down to the wire, and I feel like one round can make the difference here. And we'll have to see if it's going to be... it needs to be... Something needs to happen now, because that is a tough loss to take. You were up in front on Sinus, and it was sort of given away in the end. In a way that Exalty definitely didn't want to do so. Clearly, of course, obviously. I know Castus is the 5-head obvious thing, but it's now they go into pool as well. It's gonna be a rough one, but may the best team win, and we'll find out which one it is.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, Exalty, here's the why I'm just worried, because not only do they find themselves, having to win 2 in a row, but they also have to win the first one in a track where they did lose out last time, and it was a bit rough for them when it did fall through. So we'll see how it plays out. Again, when it comes to the identity on this track between the 4, I did feel like McQuattro was hitting it the most consistently, but this was also the track where Link struggled the most, to be quite frank, back in that first round. So if Exalty is going to bring it back, I need to see that consistency that we've been seeing from Link a lot more in this second set than what we had in the first. That's where my eye is on, because I trust Dexter and Scrappy to be right there in the mix of it every single time.
I mean, I feel like this is gonna be a close affair regardless of what, and I feel like this is gonna come down to, like, with a lot of these maps, pure execution. And looking at the moment for Sprout, the more comfortable start, as Exalty have to catch up 0.3 in the identity, which is not an easy task unless Dexter fully face plants the cube of destiny, and McQuattro with a great end. Oh, has a bit of a slide, but still holds on barely. But holds on for a victory for Exalty. And the cube strikes again. I still don't know why we don't have a cube emote. Nobody really went through the effort. We had the cone from last stage, but we don't have the cube. Come on.
We need the cube.
We need the cube.
Cube it up.
Come on, somebody get on Photoshop. Get on it.
Everybody, while we don't have the cube, get your most square-like emoji and just start spamming it now. Also, I do want to point out, McQuattro went from P4 to P1 over the course of that identity.
Yep.
Was in last by about 1/10 of a second, found up finishing first. As if we need more evidence that McQuattro is just a natural-born swimmer, man. Just knows where it's at. He loves the water, clearly, because this guy is so good each and every time they get to that pool right now. And if they're coming into the identity in first like they are right now, we could be seeing a monster time.
I mean, the Challenger League record is a .183, and of course the cool record belongs to Massa with a 105.018. I mean, the 104 is on the cards. It's only a matter of time when it happens. The important part is where it will happen. But for now, Link slides out, and it is McQuattro to strike again. Can he hold on to first position? Scrappy is gonna go for it, but McQuattro's end is clean. And it's going to be clean enough to take another first position with a 0.2 as well. What a good time. Scrappy with a 0.3 as well, not far behind. But it holds Exalty still in the lead with a 3-2.
I got to check right now, just make sure. But that could be, again, a new PB within the Challenger lead for McQuattro right there. Kind of said they had a monster time brewing, and they really, really did as it came through. Granted, see how this one continues out right now as... and in the mix for this next one. I mean, Dexter's 105.1 is still something that we have to be keeping our eyes on when Dexter really starts to unleash on this map. And if they can get themselves into the 104s, if it's going to be anyone, I still believe it's going to be Dexter. And Sprout might need it here. At the moment, though, it is Dexter and McQuattro going toe for toe out front. Everyone within 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, but as soon as you say that, there's an unfortunate error by McQuattro. Does clip the edge there, I
everyone
believe.
in the top 3.
And, I mean, the last time he was 4th position, Dexter has
everyone in the top 2.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but Link has to now be the one to clutch this one out.
Ooh.
And can he actually do it? Scrappy has been pretty crucial in the end, but Dexter is pushing in the end as well. Link has more speed. Scrappy's in the mix. They're all neck and neck, and Link actually does it. Gets the draw in the end. 3 players with 300ths of a second separating them. What a great round there. Link does what he needs to do to keep this match alive for Exalty, and he could avoid it on a proper ace there, to be honest.
That was sick. That was actually sick from Link coming through, clutching it up. And yeah, the draws coming out in full force right now between these teams. I mean, obviously the pressure, you would expect to see more and more little mistakes. McQuattro making an uncharacteristic one that last round, yet Link was able to step up. And again, the key point in victory, I felt like for Exalty, if they're going to keep this track, it's Link is going to need those moments to show, yes, I have fixed those consistency errors at the start of the day. They came through big this time, and now with McQuattro back on form, right up there with the front, actually didn't have as fast a line as the Sprout team. They take that 1-2. Link has the inside line. Do they hold the speed? They got a little bit of air, but they're able to maintain as much as possible. It will keep them toe-to-toe with Dexter as we get close to the pool in and of itself.
Yeah, and it's looking like another repeat of the previous round. This time McQuattro is closer, and Link also in behind. Can Sprout hold on to this ace? Link gets cubed once again, and it is Scrappy and Dexter hold on, but can McQuattro fully send this one? He might overtake Dexter, but with that gap, it's not going to be enough, and both of the players coming, they take the ace. It is a 4-6 scoreline for Sprout, and the infamous cube strikes yet again. I mean, it's at this point, it's a villain in disguise. I mean, slap a marker there in hazardous cube on track. It has claimed plenty of victims.
Everyone's dropping ice blocks right now in the chat. I appreciate it. If that's as cubey as we can get, it is what we need, because It has been the reoccurring theme right now. And, well, Sprout, they're so close to series point, a chance to knock themselves a guaranteed top 4 finish in this league. And, I mean, it would be a pretty great showing for them, although at the moment it is all Exalty. Scrappy's trying to stick with him, but Dexter is the one who fell behind. Can Scrappy find a way to stop the ace? Can they get themselves and even draw it out to put themselves on ace point, essentially? They've got the car link lead, but that car link lead has not been enough for McQuattro. You need like 2 or 3.
Yeah, but he always sends it. Link does slide out a bit, but that's fine at least. He will be able to hold out on 3rd position, but it's the 1st position that Mick is hunting down. Does have a better exit, but Scrappy's line will be much more beneficial when it comes to the exit, and it will be a draw. And Scrappy, I mean, Scrappy has been able to do it. Like, whenever Dexter hasn't had a round going, Scrappy all of a sudden gets all of that energy and is able to hold on to 1st position. The same goes for McQuattro. All of the players, once it matters, they all are able to get that one round going, and it's basically a formula for draws at the moment. 5-7,
yep.
But it is match point for Sprout, possibly.
It is. This could be it. If Sprout gets that 3-0, they're advancing it to the top 4, where, well, they're going to have to wait for, that other match to be played at a date TBD. But where it stands right now, Sprout looking so good. But this 2nd set has been so spectacular. Every player has had their stand-up moment, clutch moment, right, to bring it back. It feels like the spotlight has shined on everyone favorably right now. It's not shining on Link, however. They bonked. They fell back. McQuattro has to do what they can to stay in front of at least one Sprout member, preferably 2. If they can draw it again, maybe Exalty can stay in it, but Dexter definitely giving them as much trouble as he can.
Yeah, but again, going back to the previous topic, if a clutch is needed, all of these players are definitely have one out, an ace out of their pocket, an extra one. So McQuattro has to do the same as Scrappy did in the previous round, and he has really good ends, but Dexter is the one hunting him down. What a good exit by Dexter. McQuattro usually has an upper hand here, goes for it, and that's a good line as well. Woo! I think that's going to be more than enough, and indeed it is. McQuattro holds on to 1st position, gets another draw. It is going to be 6-8, and we prolong this pool. We're really reeling in the content here. I mean, maybe there's some fish in that pool, but at the moment they're fishing for a possible track point opportunity for Exalty. A Sprout now only need 2 points to get one.
You just need that round win from Sprout. And what you're thinking, if you're on that Sprout side, just stay out of last place. I mean, it doesn't guarantee a win, a draw, but it puts you 1 point away, which realistically is the best position to be. So we'll see if Sprout can keep it. For now, though, all 4 of our drivers, they're staying tight and neat, and, well, Scrappy's the one who bonked, but recovers somehow so nicely. How does Scrappy not lose any momentum, and Dexter, who didn't hit the wall, loses it all?
I mean, it is water wheels. I've seen it actually happen on the easy version as well. Sometimes that wall bang somehow still works. It still is slower, but it somehow allows you to recover if you manage to point your nose towards the wall there. But it's still not over. Link has a moment as well. I don't know what actually happened. Did he clip the edge? McQuattro has a moment. I mean, Dexter's still far behind, but can Link do anything?
Dexter's gaining.
Oh, no.
Dexter might catch him. No, Dexter cubed. He clipped the cube.
There's another cube there. But do you know what the score is? It's 7-9. Do you know what that means, Max?
Heartbreak.
It's only one more round. Ace for Exalty to keep this set alive, or Sprout moving on to the next round. This is now do or die. One mistake can determine the outcome of this round, and it is all the pressure on Exalty and also on Sprout as well. You cannot allow for an ace to happen, because imagine you go from this into a best of 1. That is gonna be an absolute annoying factor. But it seems that none of these players are gonna have any intention of making this round going to be an easy one to win.
Oh, Link, that was a wide, awkward landing. They're going to fall considerably far behind. You said it could be one mistake. That could have been it. Although Dexter started to slink back, it doesn't matter as long as Scrappy stays up towards the front. Now, McQuattro doing their job, going toe-to-toe with the leader. Has P1, but Link is going to need a miracle and then some to bring it back. We hit the pool. McQuattro stays in P1. Scrappy stays right behind him, and Scrappy keeps it clean. It is all over for Exalty. Sprawl with the chance. Link slides out. Scrappy plays it super conservative. McQuattro realizing it's pretty much done. Scrappy steals D1. Dexter gets P3, and Sprout advances to the top 4.
Well, the fairy tale is over. Exalty gave it a good shot, but with a 2-0 of set wins, we don't need the best of one. Sprout are the ones to move on to the next round, and I will say the second set was a lot more difficult than I feel like Sprout would have ever wanted it to be. A sort of a saved moment there, a bit of sweat dripping from the front, even for me. I mean, it's so hot in my room. I have literally a fan right next to me running, and I still feel like it's in the moment. It's a pure sauna at this point. Hopefully, at least Sprout can breathe a sigh of relief for now.
Well, you know what? It's true what they say. Plants love water, right? So you take the Sprouts to the pool. They'll grow, blossom, and bloom and get themselves to the top 4. And they like the heat as well, I think. So I think, the plants going to be very happy chilling in your room, not where it's like a freezing cold temperature down here. It is winter in Australia, as it turns out. But that's only our first series. We still have another 2 best of 7s right around the corner.
We have, of course, the upper bracket final. Alternate Attacks and Homyotsun are gonna be up next soon as well. We will be going on to a bit of a longer break. How long it will be, you will see this timer going on as well. But overall, I will say, Sprout, good performance. Exalty, I think, given how the season started, they can be really happy with their performance. But I feel like they would have loved to be in the next round. But for now, without further ado, we go on to a break. We'll be back, hopefully sooner rather than later. And after that, the upper bracket final awaits. So let's not keep you waiting. For now, we'll go on to a quick break.